Hello, Agata. Nice to see you again.
The same to you. But at the very beginning, I will tell you that this is actually our last video we are gonna record today to finalize our video series. So for the last time, I will ask you a question. What are the requirements from Stellantis FCA regarding supply chain management?
Okay, it's a very good question. And here, if you are speaking about the information which has to be provided in the supply chain, those information we will find in the customer specific requirement IATF point 8431, which is related to the information for external providers. And this requirement can be checked also during the process audit performing by the SQE. And so the question which will be evaluated is 17.79 from the process audit document. So let's start from the beginning. If we are the supplier defined as the tier 1, we should be aware that in the supply chain we should also provide the information related to the further requirements. So this approach, which, as you remember, we have discussed in the previous video, exists between the client and the supplier, should be also extended from our side to the sub-suppliers, and sub-suppliers should be aware about those rules related to the further requirement. The second point, which is important, is additional quality requirements. We also mentioned about this in the previous video. As you remember, those are the requirements which are specific for the particular supplier, for the particular process, and technology. So here we also have to study those additional quality requirements to find out what requirements FCA Stellantis will have defined for the supply chain as well. Then we have direct buy, about which we spoke previously. So those information we will find in the supply quality statement of requirement. And then very important point, which is related to for the using of the templates for the process audit and PDR, which is equal production demonstration run. So production demonstration run, we didn't mention about this previously, but this is the template for evaluation of production capacity. It's equivalent of Zweitage Produktion or run rate used by the Ford. So if we have in our facility the department of the SQE, and our SQEs are going to the sub-suppliers, they should use the templates of Stellantis FCA, so process audit and the PDR. Obviously, they can be defined a different approach if we have some kind of official waiver from the client. So we can use our corporate templates, but here it's important to have evidence that this agreement has been accepted by the client. So those are all the rules which we should know in cooperation with the sub-suppliers. Obviously, what I can mention is that we have to evaluate the performance from our sub-suppliers monthly from quality point of view, and those information are provided by SQE department and also from the logistic point of view. And here we can focus on time delivery, premium freights, which are provided by our logistic. So those are all requirements which we should be aware about managing of sub-suppliers.
Let me ask you about supplier development, which is also required by IATF. Generally, in the supply chain, the organizations are obliged to develop their suppliers. Is Stellantis FCA also using that approach, that they are cooperating with the suppliers to develop them?
There's no those information written, or there is no special customer specific requirements related to the sub-supplier development. It's up to the organization which approach they will use. More information here, I could say, will be dedicated for the direct buy suppliers, because for the direct buy suppliers, it's stated that in the development phase, for pre-launch phase, is responsible the Stellantis FCA SQE. And when we are in the current productions, all documentation, all package of files is given from the Stellantis FCA SQE to the organization. saying, hey, right now we have the current production, and for the direct buy, you will be responsible. So to summarize, customer specific requirements for the development phase is related only to the direct buy. If the supplier has its own sub-suppliers, then it's up to him how they will manage these sub-suppliers. Obviously, we have to do this based on our risk analysis. If this is the new supplier for us, or what kind of quality issue we had in the past with this sub-supplier.
Thank you, Dariusz, for this answer. Actually, this was the last answer. I must tell you that I had fun recording with you this series of the videos. I hope that our audience also appreciated this. In recent weeks, we saw that there are comments and appreciations by liking and sharing the videos. I wish every organization to have a fruitful cooperation with Stellantis and FCA. I hope we'll meet in another project.
I hope as well, and I would like to thank you, Agata, for invitation and possibility of sharing those information with the suppliers, because I think that it's good to know what are the general rules, approach, and standards and good practice in cooperation with this client. So thank you very much for this invitation one more time, and hope to see you again.
Thank you.